Ladies and gentlemen, we now come into the Super 8s of the ICC World Cup T20. And we have some exhilarating matches which have happened and many more that will happen. And to take us through all of this, we have Rohit and Sriram with us. All of this only here at Stumps and Sixes, where every cricket moment finds its voice. So jumping right into it, guys, Rohit, I want to ask you first, clinical performance from India, I think against Afghanistan. I don't think at any point in the match they look like they were losing the match. So would you think these are great signs ahead for India? Or is there anything, and even a little fact of anywhere in the match that you want them to do differently?
I think, firstly, India played well, really well. I don't think there was even a slight chance or an instance in the game probably where Afghanistan was bossing India. But one or two changes I personally think India should make. One is I really would want Virat Kohli to bat at 3. That's going forward into the tournament. The king should play where he is the king.
Absolutely.
So he should bat at 3. And I think Shivam Dube has not been that great as in this tournament as like the form he carried in the IPL. So if we can have Yashasvi Jaiswal at opens the innings with Rohit Sharma and then Virat Kohli bats at 3, I think that would solve a lot of problems.
I think you guys are forgetting that I'm a CSK fan.
Oh yes.
How would that change anything? You want Dube in the 11?
Yeah, so banter apart. Banter apart. I personally feel, Dube is great, but I don't think, he has that caliber of a, match taking away innings in him. So it's not harsh on Dube. I'm no one to comment on Dube. So I haven't played the international level he is playing now. So, but the thing is, I personally feel Rinku Singh has a lot of potential to be there.
In the reserves, he's starting with the team.
Instead of Dube. I feel that even yesterday's match, when Rashid Khan was bowling, the legs weren't moving for Dube. I think it's something more we should have in the number 4 position or number 5 position where Rishabh Pant used to bat.
Right.
But due to the the reshuffling and reordering that's happening in India, I think we need a batsman who's we can trust.
Right. I think
it's time we have either Rinku Singh or even Ravindra Jadeja, like with the seniority and with the experience he carries. He should step up.
Right.
Exactly.
Saying that
he's not actually in the past few innings. He hasn't
performed.
Yeah.
And it's coming a little too late, don't you think? It's coming at the end of the 18th over.
So that's what I'm saying, that with the experience and the seniority he carries, he should promote himself even before Shivam Dube probably, and then Shivam Dube should be given a role where if he's in the playing 11, he should be given a role that just go there and play each and every ball, like just bash them.
Do you guys feel yesterday's change of coming in Kuldeep instead of Siraj, was it a right move or?
I think it was a great move
for the ground that they were playing, and I think it made sense.
For the ground they were playing, and Siraj has not been in the wickets for a while now, and I think Kuldeep with that wrist spin and that left arm spin. So India has 3 left arm spinners now.
Right.
So I think that was a great move.
Absolutely.
I mean, do you were talking about wickets. If you are talking about wickets, there is only one, the super one, Boom Boom. We have to talk about him, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, player of the tournament so far.
Absolutely agreed.
Best player by far from any country or any.
I think the fact that no other team has still been able to decode him.
No.
They're still looking to play him off. They're not looking to take risks at him. And I just read a stat that he's bowled 15 overs up until now, and he's conceded like 12 boundaries. That's just unreal.
Like yesterday, 4 overs for 7 runs and
3
In a
wickets.
T20 match.
with 1 maiden. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
He's just in a different league, be it for Mumbai Indians or be it for international cricket, be it Test, be it ODI. Everywhere we go, we were, India was a team, always, the superstar of a batsman we always had, be it Sachin or be it Virat for a past century. But when bowling is concerned, Bumrah is in another league altogether.
Absolutely.
as a CSK fan, how much would you want to pay to get Jasprit Bumrah?
I don't mind paying 30 million. Though.
Okay. Would you mind letting go of Dhoni?
I don't mind actually.
Wow. Well, I think, coming back, I think he's been absolutely wonderful. I think one more thing that we now talk about Bumrah, I think the question that comes in is, we've reached the business end of the tournament where every second day we're playing a match. India's playing a match every 2 days once. With that in picture, maybe for a lesser important match, just as the Bangladesh one that we're going to play in the next tomorrow. So, do you think India should still go with their best 11? Or probably, rest Bumrah for a single match, or maybe even your star batsman. Maybe Kohli's not had the best of the outing. So going into the next match, which is tomorrow, how do you think they should make up? Because we'll come to the batting order, but should they rest Kohli only in terms of trying out Yashasvi and then probably, seeing where it goes? Or should they go with the best foot forward?
I think they should stick to their playing 11, their winning combination 11. And making any changes, tweaking any changes at this moment would be, tricky. Next match is very important, even if it's Bangladesh, it's very important from the qualification scenario. So I don't think they would make any changes to a winning combination. So my personal opinion, plus I think the team also would probably go with the same playing 11.
And the winning momentum should be there. I don't think, if we twist and turn, maybe we might get caught at a certain point. And I don't mind changing the batting order and Virat coming down and Yashasvi going into the top. But I don't think, we should drop. Maybe Bumrah, Bumrah, we can say that whenever he plays, like 10 match, you can rest him and we can play the 11th match, he will come and bowl you. But not others, because Virat is kind of a guy, he needs game time. With time, I think playing opening, I think it's directly proportional to him getting in the at his mind sight. He wasn't in RCB. RCB is different and India is different.
Absolutely, yeah.
Warner wasn't in the playing 11 for Delhi Capitals, but he is playing for Australia. So we should stick, for international, it's a different pattern, and for franchisee cricket, it's different pattern. I think how well, India came and Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid came to this wise move, I think we will get clicking, because, when we play Australia or something, we can get caught.
Right. I mean, also, given the fact that, Kohli has now reinvented his game. If you see in the last IPL, after a certain ex-getter, an ex-legend made a few comments about Virat, he's reinvented his game. But given the pitches that they've played so far, maybe it's better he sticks to his old game plan, that he takes it through to the end.
Yesterday also, it did not make any sense to go the
extra covers
route.
He was playing well. He should have stuck to his original game of playing from his bat or from the below of the from on ground shots. But I'm sure he's a big match player, and his favorite opponent is Australia.
Right.
So Australia is still pending. So I'm sure he's going to score big.
That's the fear I have. Australia is still pending.
That's okay. It's a league game, so I'm sure we are going to.
Do you guys think that bringing Rishabh Pant at 1 down is a good move? Because Surya Kumar Yadav, which said he is the best batsman as far as T20 is concerned. Do you think India is making a slight mistake by promoting Rishabh Pant? Because he is a match-winning player who should be. We need him in the middle when something happens. We should be there.
Right. I think the idea is the left and right combination, I would assume, because.
But Dubey can come in 1 down, no? Like if you are going for a left and right combination, you can even play Yashasvi Jaiswal at the opening.
I mean, I can just assume the thought process behind it being, if Rishabh Pant gets going, maybe even he stays until maybe the 15th over, and it's okay, he can get out after that. But even if he stays until then, maybe he's going to give that quick 40-50 runs, in which he did as well against. He was there for a good 12 balls and he gave a good 20 runs. And if he stayed there for much longer, a couple of more overs,
he got lucky when Naveen
dropped him. But again, given if he had stayed for a little while longer, it would have been a whole different scenario. But I think the major concept is that they want the left-right combination to keep going. And given that, I think for a lot of tournaments beforehand, we were very right-handed, heavy batting, with only one Jadeja coming way down at 6 down or 7 down in terms of left hand. So I think that's the whole thought process. And again, we spoke about Kohli being a big match player. Another big match player is Rishabh Pant as well, I think. And he loves the Australians as well. And so that's something he'll be looking forward to as well. But again, if you're getting Jaiswal in and Kohli is going 1 down, he will have to come 2 down, which probably might suit what
for 2 down, you can always play Sky, no? Like,
so where are you sending Puntin? Puntin's coming in 5?
I honestly do not think they are going to make any changes.
Yeah, these many.
Vishal is going to sit because whatever changes you had to make would have happened in the
league stages. Yeah.
They would not take any risk going against Australia and versus Bangladesh, because if we win against Bangladesh, we are almost into the semi-finals. Unless anything else happens. So I don't think Yashasvi Jaiswal would play instead of Virat Kohli, with Rohit Sharma.
We were talking earlier before the shoot. You were telling that today morning you were watching match, and the crowd wasn't up to the mark, or there is no crowd at all. So do you think this T20? It's my personal opinion. I don't feel the hype, the mass that the cricket has been delivered in this T20 especially.
I mean, the Indian audience is definitely there at the stadium. Indians are everywhere. But apart from the Indians, I have hardly seen people at the stadium.
Even the viewership at satellite TV or playing.
Because I think there are matches at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So people have found it difficult.
And the Euros is also happening simultaneously.
There's a lot of sports happening at the moment. There's Wimbledon that's starting on the first. But anyway, good sign for a sports fan. But India matches are at 8 o'clock, and the viewership yesterday, India's viewership on Hotstar when I was watching, I think it was around 2 crores.
2 crores, yes. Yeah.
So viewership wise, India is getting viewership, but for the other games.
But I think the thought process here is, in terms of growing the game, other than the Asian countries, and bringing the game into the Western, hemisphere, and even maybe to Europe in the long run. So with that in picture, maybe this is the right step forward. Maybe this one tournament won't have its usual flair that we see probably if it happened in Australia or India or any of the other cricketing nations. But again, keeping in mind the longer picture, where maybe as of right now, as we saw the Indian matches, only the Indian crowd, the NRIs who stay there, who probably come watch the match. But going forward, maybe, the Caucasians as well, the white people as well might get, there are a lot of talks about how it is similar to baseball. And I saw one game being compared to like a football match. They were saying India led by 1 and they won, so all of that. So maybe as of right now, the thought, from a classical fan, we think, oh my God, it could have been better, given that the ICC has a tendency to make bigger than life tournaments. But that being said, given the fact there are some nail biters, even if they're low scoring contests, they've been absolute thrilling matches.
Don't you think there is a lot of difference with regards to the skills of the teams? Like, for example, if I'm not being biased to any team, but I'm just saying that, for example, India and PNG are clubbed in one group.
Right.
It is a very, nobody is going to say that PNG is probably going to win.
Right.
At this moment,
True.
presently, not 10 years down the line. 10 years down the line might be a different picture. But then the level of competitiveness, the broadcast, the ticket sales, also get affected because of this. That India versus PNG, or like an Australia versus an Uganda, where I think it happened this tournament, and Uganda got all out for 35 to 38 runs. So the level of competitiveness gets down. The players don't get, or probably the players are not that motivated. So what do you?
I mean, absolutely. Yeah, I think there is a huge gap. Nobody is denying that there is a huge gap between probably the main nations or the associate nations. But I think we've had 1 or 2 instances where the team that had to win didn't win. Probably seeing the fact that New Zealand hasn't qualified. Afghanistan is not an associate nation, of course. But again, I think this is the right step forward in bridging that gap. Maybe, as you said, maybe 10 years down the line it will be a different story. But again, so a lot of initiatives taken. I think even one more initiative I saw is that for every 100 runs scored, they're donating 10 kits to the grassroots development. So stuff like this, and again, the experience that these players are going to get, and bringing about maybe not a complete performance, but there are these 1 or 2 players that stand out. For example, Saurabh Netravalkar, who's been playing for United States, absolutely amazing. So I'm absolutely sure he's going to get a contract in the IPL next time. So these names, and that's how Rashid Khan also started off, or even a certain Sandeep Lamichhane started off, and then over time there was an overall development. development. So I think this is the right step in that forward. But yeah, that does mean that we compromise on the quality of cricket we play. But I think, you got to lose a battle to win a war.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that's where it is. So coming to the other group we have clubbed, I think I would like to call this the the group of death, mainly because there's England, there is South Africa, and USA not so much, and the West Indies. So if you say the USA is a little lower ranked team, it is a fight between these three. And we saw England being the winners,
Yes.
and also South Africa being the winners, and they take on each other. So my question to you is, to both of you, is who are your players to look out for, and also your top four from both the groups?
I mean, South Africa is a very great, when it comes to T20s. But England, when it comes to the business end, when it's come to the, clutch, we saw how Phil Salt played against West Indies. So they have, this caliber of this thing, which equally possessed by Australia. And I would rate England to an extent also. So even before the tournament, my two favorites were, Australia and England, not even India.
Okay.
Because I don't want to put India there, because for the 10 years we are putting India there, and we know what we are getting back.
India there 7 months ago.
Yeah.
Yes. So
I tried to make one show without getting reminded of the 2023 World Cup, but
yeah. So I'm not going to that. But when it comes to this England, so England are so great, when it comes to the clutch moments, as I said before. So I think they are winning this group. We already saw how they managed to beat West Indies.
Yeah.
And the second team, I think, which is going to be, I think West Indies is going to sneak in.
right. So not South Africa.
I think they might miss out.
Right. And from this group?
What group?
A group, India, Australia.
India, Australia. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any changes?
I think I'm sure I support what Sriram is saying, that England is a very strong team. England are the defending champions as well. So let's not write out England, even though they have performed average.
Yeah, they have some flaws, but yeah, they are
in the league stage. But I'm sure they have all the match winners. If you see, they bat deep. They have a very deep bowling lineup. They have a good fielding squad. So England is the team to watch. Day before yesterday, I was speaking to my colleagues, and everyone was saying that England versus West Indies game, West Indies is going to win easily because home conditions and whatnot. England is not in the best of their form, but I somewhere thought that England has that winning mentality going into the business end of the tournament, and they showed what they are made of yesterday when they beat West Indies very comfortably.
Absolutely.
So England definitely is in my list of qualifying for the semi-finals. And I personally think, even though they are called chokers, South Africa would...
You mean India?
South Africa would qualify because for the team they have, the squad they have, and the way they are performing in this World Cup, they look positive. Quinton de Kock, probably was not in his best form, but last game he played very well. To support him, there are a lot of players like Klassen, Markram, and their bowling lineup is very strong, along like both the spinners as well as the fast bowlers. So I somewhere think South Africa would have that edge over West Indies. West Indies looks very very strong, but it's my day or highway for West Indies.
Right.
Either they perform brilliantly or they struggle at in the first game itself.
Yeah.
Of the World Cup, West Indies was I think 140. They struggled to chase 145.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So I would not bank on West Indies, but yes, South Africa and England from Group B. And Group A, I don't think it's a no-brainer basically. It's India and Australia. Their performance last night was brilliant, one-sided. And if they win their next game, they are almost through to not almost, but they are definitely through to the semi-finals.
What are your picks?
So, similar. I think Group B is going to be England, of course. And between South Africa and West Indies, I would have to give it to South Africa, mainly because of the fact that Rohit said that they are, my way or the highway. But the only difference that I would want is, I don't know if this is going to be true, but given a choice, I want India and Afghanistan to qualify, mainly because if you see the 2023...
Are we seeing any upset in the Super 8?
I hopefully. I mean, I'm pretty...
At least Group A.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Afghanistan's going to beat Bangladesh. The best match, their only final frontier is going to be against Australia. And let me be honest, I think Afghanistan have come very close to beating Australia, even the 50-over World Cup, if not for that amazing knock by Glenn Maxwell. Yeah, so if not for that...
Parth had gone for that game.
Yes, we had, Rahul.
He has seen one of the best innings of his life, probably.
Yeah. But and again, if that match, if Afghanistan had beat Australia were out of the tournament. They would have found it really difficult to come back.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Let's not go there.
They peaked at the right moment, is what they said.
If
but
Maxwell wouldn't have played, we would have a World Cup
trophy with us in India. Yeah, absolutely. But that being said, I think Afghanistan are raring to go and get that, revenge for that defeat in the 2023 World Cup. So I really wanted to be India and Afghanistan, and the amount of development and the amount of growth it would give to Afghanistan cricket is absolutely exponential. So
nice. It's great to talk like this, bro.
Yeah, but will they see?
It's
Will
Australia
they again?
you are talking
Yeah,
about.
no, see again.
Imagine the celebration that would happen in India if Australia is not out.
Yeah. So
Just imagine.
Because if Australia make it, we'll absolutely sure
that would be a moral victory. Even if India does not win the World Cup, that would be fine.
Yeah.
But Australia getting knocked out would be...
And I think more than India, I think Afghanistan won that revenge, I would want to say. And again, as you said, my head says it's India, Australia, but my heart says I want India and Afghanistan, just for the fact that, they're just an amazing underdog story. And it's just any underdog story just has my heart. So that's the reason why I want India, Afghanistan, England and South Africa. So
right.
That brings us to the end of today's show. I think we've had some amazing cricket in the Super 8s, and we're going to have much more matches coming up, and we'll be covering a few of them as well. Up until then, stay tuned.